others to follow his or her lead. So leadership is the key to build teams, to grow organizations, and to fulfill visions. So a lot of people actually like they think, hey, why my slide kaki cawan?
Because you're
Wait,
pressing the mouse, I think.
oh, am I?
When you click the mouse, with the pointer on the slide, when you click the mouse, I think it will jump.
Okay. All right. So okay, so here, leadership is influence, okay? So every one of us, we actually have a small little influence in our daily life to whoever that we come across to. See my this one chow again. Why like that? Hey. Okay. Okay, so what I want to say here is if we hold any position in anywhere you are, in your university, in your organization, that doesn't make us a good leader. It's not necessarily make us a good leader. So in other words, even if you're holding a position of a leader, sorry, why this one keep running? So if you are holding a position in a organization, which means like you're a leader, doesn't mean that people will actually listen to you and follow what you ask them to do. All right. And leadership is the key to building teams, growing organizations, and fulfilling visions, which means people have to follow you. They want to follow you, they want to listen to you. Then only you are able to build teams. You are able to grow your organizations. When you grow your organizations, every organizations we have visions, and that we will be able to fulfill that visions of the organization. Okay, so this is the introduction. Now we go to question 1. Does everyone have the potential to be an effective leader? What do you think? Jessie say got ghost. Okay, anyway. So what do y'all think? Do you think that everyone have the potential to be an effective leader? Any feedback? Lai. Just answer yes or no. That's it. I need 5 people to give me. See, my slide keep going backward. Why? I don't understand. Oi, I think something is wrong. I'm sorry, people, if you keep seeing my slide going back and forth. Yeah. Okay, Jin Lee say yes. CK say most definitely. Jessie say yes. Okay, you are right. All right. Well, in my opinion, I would say yes as well because sorry. Why like that? Sorry, if your eyes like go back and forth with my slide. Okay. There's a I'm going to quote on the quote that says leadership is influence. So this means that every one of us we can be leader because in our daily life, day in and day out, we encounter people, and then whatever things that we do or say to people, there is an influence to them. Okay, so it is just a matter of it's a good or bad influence that we have to the people around us lah. But that would be another topic lah. But however, being an effective leader, now this is what we are going to talk about. Effective leader is another level of perspective that we're going to discuss. Okay, let's see. Okay, here it says leadership is not a born ability. That's why your answer is correct. Everyone has the potential to lead on some level, and anyone can become better at leading. Great leaders, they actually don't start out great as well. Okay, leadership is developed, not discovered. You just think of leadership as like our growth in life. We start out as a baby, we are born a baby, right? And as a baby, we grow. And how do we grow? We actually from baby we learn to crawl first long, and then after that we learn to stand up and stabilize ourselves, and then we start walking. When we start walking, we will start running, walk faster, and then you start running. And eventually you can run and jump and, like what we are doing now. So likewise, in leadership is the same. We all start out as a baby and then we start to grow. When you grow, you are maybe just adequate, means like, okay lah. And then you become good. And then from good, you will become great leaders. You will become great leaders. So it's a process. You are not, okay. Edmund says.
Can I interrupt a bit? I'm just curious about this question. Can a baby be a leader?
Wow, that's a interesting question.
In other words, if leadership is influence, can baby influence?
I think so. Yep.
Okay. Baby can influence the parents? Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So what's the difference between a baby's influence and an adult influence?
That's deep.
You say baby got leader, ma? Is a leader, ma? Baby can lead also, ma? Baby also got influence, ma? So what's the difference between a baby's influence and an adult's influence?
Experience.
Verbal and non-verbal.
Huh? Verbal and
Verbal and
non-verbal.
non-verbal.
Okay, very good. One possible one aspect is verbal, non-verbal, but not necessary. Baby also verbal. Baby, then the adult also baby talk, baby talk. When the baby do baby talk, the parent go and do baby talk. So the baby influence the parent to do baby talk, right?
Yep.
So not necessary non-verbal. Depth of influence. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, effectiveness of the influence, I guess. Okay, if I would, Matthew, your one, effectiveness of influence. You are saying which one more effective? Adult more effective or a baby more effective? Adult? Seriously? I asked a question. Serious? Have you seen a baby influence an adult more effectively than an adult influence another adult? Especially changing adult attitude? Right? I'm not going to give you answer. Think about it. Because I haven't got answer for you. Actually, I've been thinking about this a long time. Actually, that's why my picture, my mental picture, my mental definition of leadership has been growing for the past years as I've been thinking. And at least one of the things I noticed lah. A lot of the baby's influence, most of the time, the baby's influence is not conscious. The baby does not consciously want to influence other people to follow.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas adult, they are much more conscious influence. That means they really want to influence other people to follow. They are putting a conscious, direct effort to influence and impact, right? Influence some kind of a following. Whereas the baby don't. The baby has no interest to influence you to follow. So it's more indirect, right? It's more of a subconscious influence, which also throws another understanding, which means that as an adult, even now as an adult, we have two forms of influence. The conscious influence, the influence we gain by putting in effort, right? But we also have subconscious influence. In other words, There are things that we are doing, or we are being, or we are somehow our inner nature can influence other people without our consciousness.
Yep.
Now this is very important for us to understand.
Mm.
Now, then the question becomes, how do we make sure? You see, most of the time when we look at the baby have a subconscious positive influence. I think 99% of the time. I would say maybe even 100% of the time. I don't think the baby can subconsciously influence negatively. I don't think so.
Mm.
Right? But
Mm.
I think an adult can subconsciously or unconsciously influence negatively.
Mm.
Then my question becomes, if as an adult we can unconsciously influence negatively, but we also can unconsciously influence positively, then I will be interested to know what is it in me, in my nature, that will contribute to positive influence subconsciously. Because that's very important. We want that. The last thing we want is we don't want ourselves to be subconsciously be a negative influence. We don't want.
Yep.
So what can we do? What kind of quality can we develop so that we can subconsciously be a positive influence? Now, these are questions I have. I don't have answer for you. These are thoughts that I've been having for quite a while. So, which means that as you are growing now, and for you all, for most of you, you are less than what? You are about what? 1/4 of your lifespan, or maybe less. I think around 20% to 25% of your lifespan. I think most of you haven't even exceeded 30% of your lifespan. Because 30% of your lifespan, let me see, 70 years old. Oh, well, 30% possible. You haven't exceeded 40%, 35%. So, which means that you still have a big part of your life to go to develop this. Because why I say that is so important, because most of you are not parents yet. And your subconscious ability to influence is very important for parenthood.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Because your child, your children is watching you without you knowing.
Yeah.
And you are not consciously influencing them. You are just living out your life, and they are watching you without you consciously trying to influence them.
Yep.
So, which is why it's important for all of you, because none of you are parents. There's only one YMAT member who's a parent, and he's not joining. He's too busy to join. There's only one.
Wei is already a parent.
Jian Wei, the first father in YMAT.
Oh, first father. Okay.
Yeah. First youth father. Of course, I'm the first father lah, but I don't count. So the first father in YMAT is Jian Wei. So right now, once you become a father, you are very busy. But this is one question I'm concerned for all of you, because this is what you want to do. Think about this: how you can equip yourself so that you develop natural qualities that can be a subconscious positive influence to your children. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. I'll leave that with you now.
All right. So that's why we are reading this book, to learn how to be a better leader in life. So we will apply this. I mean, we must apply this for our children's future. Okay. So all right. So it's a process to be a great leader. Thank you so much, Edmund, for your input. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the next one. So there are three main components that come into play in developing a leader. First one is the environment, which is the incarnation of leadership. And second one is exposure, inspiration for leadership. And the third one is equipping, intention for leadership. Okay, let's go to see what are they. First, environment, incarnation of leadership. A person's environment has a tremendous impact on him, like what Edmund has mentioned just now, which is our family. That's the biggest impact because we stay with them. It's like we live with them at least 1/4 of our lives, right? At least lah, which is until like 20 plus, 30 some, they still live with their parents. So environment will mold us to become who we are. If you're living in, for example, if you're living with your parents who are more artistic, this is what you are exposed to every day. You see your parents, they are very artistic, and you will more or less develop that quality in you. And if you're living in an environment where your parents or your father is a leader is very strong in leadership, so that's where you will learn the trait of how he lead in the household, and how he talk and things like that as a leader, and you will more or less be influenced by that as well. And other than family, another thing is friends, right? Friends also will impact us in our life. The friends that we mix with, sometimes from the way we talk, from the way your friends talk, you will also, if you mix long enough, you will also talk like them, or they talk like you. You influence key like that lor. So same goes to our leadership. If we our environment will mold us of who we are and how we lead others. All right. So what does a growth environment look like? These are the points that a growth environment will look like. Like, others are ahead of me, so you want to be there as well. You're growing, right? And I am continually challenged. It's a good way, so that, you're challenged, you want to live up to that expectation, you accept the challenge and you want to do it. And my focus is forward. It's not staying stagnant. Okay, sometimes we say, we don't go backward, but we are not moving forward. That's not growth as well. So another one, the atmosphere is affirming. And I am often out of my comfort zone. I wake up excited. Failure is not my enemy. Others are growing. People desire change. And growth is modeled, not expected. Okay, so there's this saying that goes like this. You surround yourself with what you want to become. And look at your 5 closest friends. Those friends are who you are in the future. So who you surround with actually determines your future. I think this is quite true. What do you think, Edmund?
If I look back at my own life, and then I look back at Ian's life, I see a lot of importance here. Now, we may not get a chance to choose our parents. Like, I don't have a chance to choose my parents. But so same like Ian don't have a chance to choose me as a father. And I can notice that Ian has copied some of the bad habits from me. And to some extent it can't be helped. So I have to be gracious with myself. However, you see, you may not be able to choose the parents you have, or you may not be able to choose yourself as a parent to your child, because that's it. And you cannot force yourself to be who you are not. Does that make sense? So you're all going to be parents, and you will all be a parent and yet have your own limitation, right? And there's no point beating yourselves up for your limitation. However, let me say this. However, you can still choose the kind of babysitter that you have. You have for your child. In other words, when your child is a baby, are you going to have an Indonesian maid who's going to spend 6 hours, 7 hours a day with the child? That's your choice, you know. And so, what kind of things are your children learning from the maid? What kind of kindergarten are you sending your children to? What kind of school are you going to send to? What kind of extracurricular activities are you going to? I still remember, actually, for me, I was very lucky. When Ian was young, baby, we needed help. So we had an Indonesian maid. And I remember the Indonesian maid happened to be very good. Very good, very motherly. And so she became a tremendous help. But I also was fortunate that the Indonesian maid couldn't extend her stay. So it was only until Ian was about three years old or something like that. Then the Indonesian maid had to go home. And then we decided not to have another Indonesian maid. So forcing me and Elizabeth to be the parent. Now, to me, it's fortunate because why? If we got to hire another Indonesian maid, what kind of things will the Indonesian maid be teaching the child? Then I still remember me and Elizabeth were very selective to the kindergarten she attended. We chose an international school kindergarten for Ian to learn. And then I still remember running all over Penang, trying to find the best primary school. And then making sure we meet the teacher, right? We get feedback from the teacher. And then when go to secondary school, I still remember we had a long discussion whether Heng Yi or Chong Ling, and we decided Chong Ling. And we also had a say into what kind of club and society that Ian must join, because they are required to join. And we because they listened to us at that young age. Now, honestly, now that I look back, okay, it has contributed significantly to Ian growing positively. Significantly. So in other words, this environment, there are some aspects of the environment you cannot choose, but there are some aspects you can choose. Definitely, there are some aspects you can choose. So make sure those aspects that you can choose. Please take responsibility for choosing it. I know I've seen a lot of parents. Doesn't matter lah. The child will learn. Not so good one also will learn. Now, to me, why you want to allow the child to go through and have the risk of learning bad quality traits? To me, it's not right. It's not good. Not good. I've heard a lot like this, and I can see that a lot of these children whose parents say like this. Now I look at them, look at the Ian's peers, that same age as Ian, and then I see some of the social media things that's going on. Hey, not very healthy. Not very healthy. Okay. Not good. So what I'm trying to say is, once you recognize the importance of environment during the first quarter of your life, how it shaped your child's leadership, or how it shaped a person's future leadership, my encouragement for you, for all of you, next time for your children, please get involved. Really get involved to shape them. Our job is to make sure that your children are better leaders than you. Okay, that's your responsibility. That's the whole point anyway, that they should become a better person, a better influence than you. Okay, that is That is the reflection of a good parenthood. A good parent makes their children better than them.
Mm.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, back
Yep.
to you.
Thank you so much, Edmund. Actually, I totally agree. What you say is like leadership, like what you say, they say charity starts at home. I think leadership starts at home as well. For now,
Yes.
for your case, it's like for your children. Like you say, we don't get to choose our environment. But right now, we are in a group whereby we learn the importance of leadership. We learn the importance of influence. So we can't change our parents, but we can change who we are because we learned it and we know the importance of it. So it starts with us.
Maybe I can say one thing now
Mm.
for all of you.
Mm.
You all still have a chance to choose what kind of parent you will become.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you are not parents yet. And that's why at this point, you still have the time to choose what kind of parent you will become.
Mm.
Once you become a parent, it's kind of late.
Mm.
Okay? Yeah. So, which is why I always say, like for me, I always say, you all shouldn't be making the mistakes I made.
Mm.
You all shouldn't. Why do you all want to make the mistakes I made? It's sad. Right?
Yep.
I made the mistake. That's why I'm warning you. I'm telling you from my mistake. How I wish, I always say, how I wish I had this book, or how I wish I have a study group like this when I was your age. I would have been a totally different parent. Would have been, definitely would have been. So for you all, you can still choose because you are not a parent yet. Because once you are, it's difficult already. You cannot be what you do not know. You can't. If it's not in your mind, you cannot make a decision based on that. So right now, that's why it is so crucial for you to keep attending this, learning this, so that you can become a better person. That when the time comes and you are actually become a parent, you are already a better. Yeah. Okay.
All right. That will bring us to our second point, which is exposure, inspiration for leadership. So inspiration for leadership, other than like we hear like the testimony, the sharing from Edmund, they like a warning to us to tell us do not repeat his mistake. And here we get inspiration from other leaders. So first, we could expose ourselves to great leaders. We expose ourselves, like for example, right now in our study group, we have Edmund here to help us, to lead us, and to tell us to tell us how to go about in our life. Do not repeat the mistake that he made in the past. So this is one kind of exposure. And if you see any people out there who has great leadership skill or something that you can learn from, go to them and learn from them. And if you don't have, it's okay. There are tons of books out there that introduce us to leadership concepts. Just go to the bookstore, tons of them. You can choose. And then we can seek out leaders and speakers to learn from them as well. For this one, we can easily get from YouTube lah, right? So you just pick the right one. From the famous leadership people like Zig Ziglar, Elmer Towns, Peter Drucker, or John Wooden, or even John C. Maxwell himself. And then we can also hear great leaders speak to learn from them, get ideas from reading their books, asking them questions, as in like maybe your boss or anyone that you find that they have qualities of leadership. Just ask them questions so that they will tell you more, and watch them how they lead, and visit their workspace, see how they work, how leaders work in their workspace, or visit a library. So this one, this I wrote here, we spent an entire day just soaking in leadership and by being inspired by it, is by John C. Maxwell. He went to the library, he visited the library together with the wife. So they would do that together. So here, also I want to give you a quote, is that leaders are readers. And I think that leaders are learners as well. I should have added that. Okay, so this is for exposure, inspiration for leadership. If you have any other inspiration for leadership points, you can share with us here. Anyone have any other points to share?
I have an advice about exposure.
Okay.
Today's world,
Mm.
you are exposed to many things, good things, bad things,
Yep.
or in between.
Mm.
And there are a lot of gray areas. Okay. For young people today, they are overexposed. And to me, that's a sad thing. When you are overexposed, right? Without guidance, you are in trouble.
Mm.
So you get confused or you get misled. So I want to add a word to this exposure.
Mm.
To me, exposure is not enough. To me, I will encourage guided exposure. Make sure you have someone, a mentor, someone who you can turn to give you advice on what kind of exposure. In other words, when you're exposed to something new, you must always check them. Check your exposure. Because there are a lot of gray exposure. There are a lot of exposures that sound good, but it's actually wrong. Okay? So you have to be extremely careful. How do you distinguish between right, absolutely right, to something that is half right? Always, the biggest problem is never with right and wrong. Everybody can choose right and wrong. But it's the most difficult, the most confusing part is right and half right.
Yeah.
Okay? And the danger part is the half right. Half right sounds right, but it can be very wrong. Okay? So please be very careful. Be extremely careful with, if anything, my advice for you, very simple. If something sounds very convincing, but deep down inside you, your conviction or your conscience seems not to find peace, okay, please go and check. Okay, there are a lot of things out there that in the argument, because you are still very young. Okay, in argument, that's why I think some of the more senior members, you have encountered some of the people who have joined YMAC before who have very strange idea. And yet, strange idea, never mind. The problem is not about having strange idea. We all will go through period learning strange things. Okay? That's never a problem. The problem is never about us learning unusual things or learning something that is not quite right. There's nothing wrong with that. Because that's the process of learning. But the thing wrong, the thing that is bad is some of these people who are so young, they hold on to this seemingly wrong thing and they refuse to learn what is wrong with it. They hold on to this adamantly as though it's right, and they become so stubborn with it. I have argued, 60-year-old man argued with a 25-year-old boy about their philosophy of life. And they refuse to learn. At the end, they quit YMAC. Now, to me, that is extremely sad. If I'm 25 years old and if I'm arguing with a 60-year-old man, I better be extremely careful. That's why in the Bible also says we don't argue with old people who have experienced 60 years of experience and we only have 25 years of experience. Be extremely careful with that. Now, having said that, does that mean that we take a 60-year-old person's philosophy? No, we consider. and then we go and talk to other 60-year-old people. Okay, so you have to go and do research, and you have to go and find a reliable guidance. This is very crucial. Don't get stuck and stubborn, right? When you are young, be open to learn. That's why the Mabel says leaders are learner. Learner is an attitude. The attitude where you are still learning, so you don't become stubborn and conclusive yet in your philosophy of life, because you are still shaping your philosophy of life. Okay, when you reach my age, you should be fairly shaped, though not absolutely shaped. Okay, but when you are young, your philosophy of life should still be growing and changing. Okay, that's why I said guided exposure.
And I think we shouldn't follow blindly, right? Yeah. Okay.
But you see, that's where the difficulty is when you say you shouldn't follow blindly. Whose side are you going to refer to for guidance? You say you shouldn't follow blindly. Does that mean you should follow your own eyes? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's why it's very, when you say you don't follow blindly, then whose side are you to use as a reference? That's why very tough. And that's why the world becomes very confusing. I agree with you. You shouldn't follow blindly. But then if you don't follow blindly, then you follow your own side. When you are too young, you're too young to be sure about what you're seeing. And what you're understanding.
Yeah, I think as a Christian, that's where spiritual guidance from above it's very much needed. We need
definitely.
Yeah, we need wisdom to know what is the right thing to do, what is the right thing to follow as well. Yeah. So can I proceed to the next point?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay, number 3 is not yet. So where will you go for leadership inspiration? This is still number 2. So here is some guide lah. Whom do you admire as a leader? And just plan to go and hear someone you admire to speak, and take a trip. This is what John C. Maxwell he did. Take a trip to a presidential library or a museum to learn, or make an appointment to interview an impactful leader. Well, in conclusion, just get yourself inspired. Yep. So this is point number 2. So I proceed to point number 3, equipping, which is intention for leadership. Here it says leadership is influence, and for that reason it can be taught, but you have to have that intention. How? We can learn to connect with people, and we can learn how to communicate. We can learn to plan and strategize. We can learn to prioritize, and we can learn how to get people to work together. We can learn how to train and equip people. We can learn to inspire and motivate others. And most leadership skill, as you can see, they all can be taught to people. Right. So yeah.
Question.
You see the word. Yeah, you see the word there. Learn. You have a question. Okay.
Question. What has the first sentence, second sentence, third sentence, fourth sentence got to do with leadership?
Okay. Connect with people.
You see the last 4 is quite easy to understand. How to get people to work? Okay, that's leadership. How to train and equip others? Okay, that's leadership. How to inspire, motivate others? That's leadership, because it's got to do with others. And then most leadership skill can be taught to people. Okay, you teach others. Okay, there's always others, right? That means you are improving other people. But the first four is improving yourself. What is that got to do with leadership?
Am I supposed to answer, or everyone else can answer?
Everybody else can answer, including you.
Jessie said leaders need to equip yourself first.
Okay.
Yep. I think for the first 2 points, we can learn to connect with people. I think connecting with people is very important, because leadership is not just about leading people without knowing their need. We need to connect with them to know them personally. Then and also to learn how to communicate with them. When you connect with them, you know their story, you know what they are going through. That's where the connection comes from. And then we will need to know how to communicate with them, so that people will be inspired by us and that they want to follow us. Like we say, leadership is influence. So how you communicate with people very much has got to do with the influence that you have towards the other person, no? And
Okay,
you
good,
get my
good.
point.
Good. Others? Anybody else want to add in?
Nope.
Hey, where's everybody else? Now, a lot of times we often have a tendency to think that leadership is the impact you are making from what we are doing. That's why we often think in context of the conscious impact. The first four is the subconscious impact, the being. Leadership is very much more powerful being than doing.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why the first four is being. You're being a person who can connect with people. You're being effective in communication. You're being effective in living out your life well. You're being able to know what is important in your own life. That's why very crucial in life is that life in leadership is the outcome of being. It's not about doing. In other words, if a person focused on doing too much and did not develop the being, the impact of their leadership is going to be very limited. I'm not saying that they don't have influence. They will. But they all become, their influence will only be contributed by their conscious doing, not their subconscious being. And a lot of times, that's why you will notice that there are a lot of good corporate leaders that are lousy parents. What happened? At work, they are good leaders. But at home, they are lousy leaders. Because at home, your children is looking at your being. It's not looking at your doing. At work, your subordinate is looking at your doing. Because they don't see you 24/7. Only in meeting they see you. Only when you come out they see you. So very often you are able to come out and put up a front and do. But they don't often see you when you are being. When you are in your room being. But you are in private, they don't see you very often. They are busy doing their work. They're not consciously looking at you. That's why very important is to realize that the at home, you notice your children relies on you on being. But eventually, the person who can be and do is the most powerful leader,
Yep.
not the person who only can do. That's why corporate leader, they can do better than they are being. But that's why their parenthood, very often, they fail. So how do I notice whether a person is a great leader who can do and who can be? I see both. I see a corporate context, then I see their home context. I look at their children. So if their children is good, and then go out in the corporate, also good. Now, there is a consistency with doing and being already. Because it becomes natural that he connects with people, including their own children. They communicate with not just subordinate, but their own children. They learn to plan and strategize. They learn to plan and strategize and recognize that the children is as important, which is why they prioritize their children as important and strategize to give enough time for their children to spend quality time with their children, to ensure that the children also become good and they grow up. Okay? Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much for your input, Edmund. So here it's all about learning how to be and also how to lead, right? So what can you do about this? Next. Okay. Leadership is a skill that can be obtained by learning, all right? So John C. Maxwell says, this is the reason I've spent the last 30 years of my life focused on writing books and developing resources to help people to grow and learn. He says, I believe every person can be equipped to learn. So we all can be equipped to learn. So you need to take action now, lor. Before that, one more point. The one thing that you can do to have greatest impact on your leadership potential is to be intentional every day about becoming equipped to lead. Every book that you read, every lesson that you absorb, every principle that you apply, you have to be very intentional. Because they help you to become a better leader and take you to another step forward in your leadership potential. Okay? So now, what is your plan for leadership growth? Because we need to learn and we need to grow, we want to develop this leadership, right? As we say that everyone can be equipped with this leadership, everyone can be what's that word? Everyone can become a leader lah. So we need to set some goals for ourselves. You develop a personal strategy to grow in the coming year, and then you break down the plan into daily and weekly disciplines. So this is what I write here. You need to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So this is for your own personal growth as a leader. How to be more effective leader in your life. Okay.
Okay. Anything else on this question one, Mabel? Or the next slide is what? Next slide is question 2.
Yeah, next slide is already question 2. Okay, Jesse asked, what is the personal strategy mean?
Okay, let me. Okay, Jesse asked a good question. Let me just try to show you something. Now,
okay,
if we think in context of a personal life of success, a success story, I would think in a successful life has 4 parts. First is learning. Second is doing. Third is being. Fourth is living out your, reward, the experiencing your reward, enjoying, can say enjoying lah. So if I were to classify these 4 steps in life for successful life: learning, doing, being, and enjoying. Now, if I assume that for each of us, on average, we live 70 years old, and if I were to divide all these 4 stages of life equally, okay, 70 divided by 4 is approximately what? about 17.5 years per stage. That means to learn, I need 17.5 years. To do, I need 17.5 years. To be, I need 17.5 years. And then enjoy. Now, if let's say I cut down the enjoy, why I want to enjoy 17.5 years? Okay, never mind. I enjoy 10 years enough already. So 60 divided by 3, 20 years. So 20 years to learn, 20 years to do, 20 years to be. Now, if you think about it, when do you think you can begin to experience success? Which stage do you think you can begin to experience success? To see success in your life? Learning? Do you think you can see success in your life through learning? No. Can you see success in life through doing? Maybe a little bit. But can you begin to see success in life during being? Yes. Now, if you think about it, which is logical, that a lot of people say that the average age for success is around 45. And yet, today's young people, a lot of them, they want success to be a successful entrepreneur in their 30s. No, which means this, if you think about it now, what you are going through now, you're all in your 20s. What stage is this? What should you be doing at this stage, at this age? You should be experimenting. That's what you're doing is experimenting. Doing is about experimenting. In other words, from child to 20 years old, you spend a lot of the time just learning, which is what people do now. A lot of time you spend learning until you are about 25 years old. Once you go out, your key now is you're spending a lot more time experimenting and then go back to learning to see why your experiment works or doesn't work. Then when you finally find a way that works, that's where you begin to do until it becomes a habit. And that should be 40s, in your 40s. So in your 40s, you should be more of getting into the rhythm. And then when you are in the rhythm long enough, you see maximum success. That's why what Jesse said, after 60, yes, but you can begin, maybe after, you can begin to experience some of it after 40s. Now, why is this very important? Now, Jesse, you asked the question, what is personal strategy means? Now, think about it. In view of what I'm saying, do you know what you should be spending most of your time doing now? Now, if you have not spent your time learning in your first 20 years, especially learning the things that are important for what you want to pursue in life, for your mission in life, then you have to delay your learning. You have to stretch your learning. That's why it's key, it's very important. You have to learn the things that is relevant to your mission now. And then you must begin to experiment with it. Okay? Because what you are learning is history. What you are learning is what worked last time, not what worked tomorrow. And that's why you always need to experiment basing on what you have learned from history to see what is the strategy or what is the method required to work tomorrow. So you experiment until you discover the method that works for tomorrow, and that's where you begin to fine-tune the method long enough reap the success. So in personal strategy, you have to think, have I learned all the things necessary for my mission? If not, then I must make sure I must complete my learning, the learning of the topics that is necessary for my mission. And then the next thing, I must plan in the years how I'm going to experiment with it. Right? Now, can I hope you can see, I hope you can see what I'm saying here, how it fits into what your question, huh? Okay, any other question? Anything, anybody want to make any comment or any question?
I would like to add on just my personal just what I learned now, okay? Like to develop a personal strategy. Sorry, Edmund, you were saying? Hello? Is Edmund there? What's that sound? Hello, Edmund? Oh, Edmund phone ring. So he's on the line, is it? Okay, disconnected. Okay. I thought he's on the line.
Hello. Sorry.
No. Okay.
My mom called, so I had to answer the phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, my slide. Okay. So I would like to add on is that developing a personal strategy to grow, it means that I think all of us have different goals in life lah. Even for leadership is a very broad topic to talk about, and it's too broad that we like at every stages, like for example right now it's so broad that I won't be like wanting to do everything at once, right? So I think we just pick like whichever skill in the leadership that is most applicable to you at this stage, and then you go and learn and develop that skill. And this is the goals that we set for ourselves lah. So different people with different goals, then that's where the personal strategy comes in. No, that's why he writes like personal strategy, because there is no like like every one of us, we have different goals, so we have different strategy to tackle the goal that we want to achieve. Yeah. So this is also apart from what Edmund has shared, and this is my personal understanding of developing a personal strategy to grow, because each person, the setting of the goals is very personalized, is different for every individual. So so our strategy also will be different. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mabel, for a very clear explanation. Just to add on to this personal strategy, actually, all of you have no excuse. Why? You have a lot of online courses, and they are very cheap. Udemy, Coursera, and now because of the lockdown, more and more, and they are very cheap. So basically, now if you understand you are beginning to understand your mission in life, you should be enrolling for all this program to equip yourself. Okay, that's what you should be doing.
Yep.
Because without this learning, you cannot be. Nobody can be the best of whatever you want to be without the knowledge to be. So that's why the learning comes in. You have to learn the knowledge, and then you have to turn the knowledge into being a part of your life, a natural part of your life. That's where you're being. You transform your knowing into being. But if you don't have the knowing, your being is always very limited. Okay.
You're right. That's why leaders are learners. So yeah, that's all for question 1. It's already 10. Shall we proceed to question 2 or next week?
Oh no, finish question 2. Question 2
Huh?
should be shorter.
Really?
Question 2 shorter, ma? No, meh?
Okay. Quite long walk.
Oh, yeah, quite long. Okay, okay.
Yeah, there are a few points.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many slides do you have, Mabel, for question 2?
3 lor, tapi 3.
Okay, 3,
I,
go, 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 go.
uh,
3 only. You got 3 only. Go.
my 3 is shorter one. I will
Huh?
talk.
Never mind, never mind. Can.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we start, we
Okay.
we we all start 8:30. We have still got about 25 minutes. Can.
Okay. Okay. Until question 2. I'll finish
Yes.
question 2. So question 2 is, how can you be a leader right where you are, even if you are at the bottom? Right? Some people may think, oh, we must be like how only we can be leader, right? But here is question for us. How can we be right where we are right now? So the good news is you can be a leader no matter where you are. You don't need a title, you don't need a formal education. All you need is to begin. All you need to begin is the desire to lead and the willingness to learn. So the key is influence, and also a few of my bold wording. Okay, willingness to learn is very important in a leader. And just like this author and Professor Harry Allen, he asserted that the very essence of the very essence of all power to influence lies in getting the other person to participate. That is your influence. Oh, sorry, this is my first point. Leadership is influence. Okay. Our ability to influence others will be the single greatest factor in your success as a leader. Point number 1. Okay, so that's where this author and Professor Harry Allen says the very essence of all power to influence lies in getting the other person to participate. When you are able to get everyone to participate in a group, that's where your influence comes. You know that you have the influence to get everyone together. And then key point number 2 is influencing others is a choice. The choice we choose whether we want to be indifferent to others, we want to pursue our own agenda, have a bad attitude, or refuse to work as a team, or we can care about people, be inclusive, work to be positive, cooperate with others, cooperate with others, and try to positively influence others. This is our choice. Every day it is our choice. If we choose to influence people, we can lead from anywhere. Okay, as long as there are humans around us, we can influence already. So second point, okay. So now third point, our influences is not equal in all areas. What does it mean? Just because that we have influence with someone, it doesn't mean that we have influence with everybody. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. So influence must develop with each individual. There are 5 levels of leadership. First one, it starts with your position, and then it grows with the permission. Second P, permission, as you develop a relationship. Third one, you build upon production. Third P, as you help others to get things done. Fourth one, you strengthen as you engage in people development. That's your fourth P. Number 5 is culminates at the pinnacle when you raise up other leaders who develop people, which means you are successful in raising another leader, that person can develop another group of people to become the leader, so to speak. Okay. And the next point is, with influence actually comes responsibilities. Like for example, there are people who wants to be a leader, or they desire to lead, because usually when you are on top in the leadership positions, you can get all the perks and privileges lah. And then some people think that, oh, I'm on top already, I don't have to do anything, people do everything for me, that kind of power. But no, as a leader, we should always be aware that leadership carries responsibilities. That whatever things that we do affect the people whose feelings and well-being are within our influence. And the influence we have with others will be either positive or negative one. So we choose which one will it be. Okay, and the last one is people of positive influence add value to others. Sorry, Edmund, you were saying image
Don't worry.
title.
I'm typing so that later I will explain.
Okay.
You
So
go
the
on,
last
finish first.
last point is people of positive influence, they actually add value to others. So just now, Edmund did mention about this how positive influence, right? How do we you said about how do we be positive to others or something like that. So by adding values to people, we are actually spreading our positive influence to them. Like Jackie Robinson observed, he said, a life isn't significant except for its impact upon other lives. So if you choose to influence others and become a better leader, he hoped that we will do so to add values to others. Like adding values to others is like, oh, this is the question I ask you. How do we add value to others? People of positive influence add value to others. Yeah, adding value. But how? Any input from all of you? Hello. Did I talk too fast that you all need some time to digest? Sorry, I'm a bit fast. Okay, Patrick say helping them to maximize the potential. Jessie say by giving back to them. Any other answer? Yeah, you're right. Helping people to maximize. Use your gift to inspire others to find theirs too. That's right. How do you add value? Multiply value. Any other answer? Jessie, what do you mean add value can be in different form?
Okay. I'm still thinking, but what I thought of is actually everyone we give we add value to people in different way. You see, some people through writing, that's why the blog comes, right? Some people through a picture, right? They can tell a story from a picture. You see, then can inspire people in different way. So some people can do video. You see, I think everyone should have to find their own ways to add value to others. Yeah, this is what I mean.
Thank you, Jessie. Yeah, Edmund, any input? I see you write a lot.
I like to change the phrase. People of positive influence increase value to others. Now, why I want to use the word increase? Because there are two ways to increase value.
Okay.
Add value or multiply value. Now, what I mean by add value or multiply value? Two different. Add value is where I only add to the person. That's it, full stop.
Okay.
That means I make that person's life better. Finish, full stop. Now, I can make the person's life better in 4 areas. Physical area, mental area, emotional area, spiritual area. Physical area could be in terms of physical needs. Okay. The person hungry. Okay. I buy food for the person. So I added value physical value. The person don't go hungry. The person no clothes, very cold, freezing cold outside. Okay, I go and buy a jacket for the person. So the person wear and then now have warm. So that's physical. Mental is the person now no education. Let's say, okay, I go and find a way where the person get educated, so that now the person know how to think better. Emotional, the person feels sad, so I go and encourage the person so that the person don't feel fat anymore and have the energy to do something with their life. Spiritual, so now the person understand now their spiritual context of their life, being more than just on earth, and then there's something more to life, and that gives them a deeper meaning, deeper purpose, to see further, to see that their life matters beyond this physical life. So there are 4 aspects in which you can add value or increase value. But then multiply value is even more better than add value. Add value, you add value to that person. 1 + 1 = 2. That's it. So I increase the person's that particular person's benefit. Multiply value is where now I not only increase that person's value, I equip the person to increase other people's value. So I'm creating multiplying effect. In other words, now after I multiply value, not only I can do it, but the person also can now add value to other people, or maybe even multiply value, better still, multiply value to other people. That means they not only add value. Now, to multiply value, you have to add value. But then you go beyond adding value. Now you equip the person to know how to help other people. And now you equip the person to know how to equip other people to help other people. This is what I mean by multiply value. So of course, if you don't start adding value, I don't think a person will know how to multiply value. But you don't have to stay stuck in adding value. That means you don't stay in plus. You must go to times. That's why there are 2 ways to increase. As a maths lecturer, I always think there are 2 ways to increase, there are 2 ways to decrease. 2 ways to increase is plus and times. 2 ways to decrease is minus and divide. Okay? So you want to add and then you want to times. Okay? So to me, this is where we have to think further. Very few people are times. There are very few people who do the work of multiplying. You see, multiplying, for those of you who have been through, I've shown you before the importance of multiplication. Times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, and how it actually is much faster in increasing than plus 1,000, plus 1,000, plus 1,000. If you plus 1,000, okay, you need 3,000 times to hit 3 million. You plus 1,000, you have to plus 1,000 3,000 times to hit 3 million. If I times 2, only times 2, you know. If I times 2 and then times 2, how many times 2 do I need to hit 3 million? I only need 27 times. I only need 27 times 2 to hit 3 million, whereas I need 1,000 plus 1,000, 3,000 times to hit 3 million. Can you imagine in our effort, if I plus a person life 3,000, 1,000, every time I want to improve a person life, I plus 1,000 to the person. I really want to plus the person until he's so good. And then the person feel very good and happy with their life. Then I go to the next person and then I plus 1,000 and then make the person very good. And then the person very happy with their life. Right? Can you imagine the effort of putting a plus 1,000? Compared to if I'm only times 2. All I do is times 2. Now, I times 2, the person now can do what I do. Then, now the person go and find 2% and times 2. I go and find another 2% and times 2. I only need to do 37 times. I repeat 27 times of times 2. Get 2% to do what I can do, times 2. I only need 27 times. So, multiplying is far more effective than adding. But I have to learn to add to multiply. If I'm not even adding, I cannot multiply. But don't be satisfied with adding value to other people's life. Be more concerned for multiplying value in other people's life. Does that help?
Yep. Okay. You wrote a lot of points just now. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you go back to my points, the 5 things I wrote down.
Yep.
This is very important. Now, this question, you go back to your first slide of question 2.
First slide, this one.
No, back.
Here.
This one. Okay. How can you be a reader right where you are, even if you are at the bottom? Now, notice, this question is a position question at the bottom. Okay, it's what I call position question. Now, a lot of people think of leadership wrongly. Leadership is not limited by position. Yes, position can have influence. But is leadership only limited to position? No. But can position provide leadership? Yes. Now, if a person has a position, definitely he has bigger influence. If I have a position, if I have a title, if I have an image, right? And if I am a person who has a doctor in front of my name, if I have a person with a position of CEO in my name card, definitely people will pay more attention. Yes, you see what I'm saying? But however, if a person focus on leadership only based on position, to me, I say very sad. What I've listed here, there are 5 other areas that can provide influence. In fact, the other 4 areas, to me, provide longer impact, a long-term influence. Image, title, or position provide influence only as much as the position continues. Simply meaning, if I have a title CEO, the influence is on who? All my subordinates and all the other company who would like to have working relationship with my company. In other words, position only have influence with the connection. Title only have influence based on the connection. You cannot take your position home and have the influence to our children. You cannot put your CEO and expect our children to have the same amount of influence on our children. You cannot have a doctor in front of my title and have the same amount of influence on our children. But it does have an influence in my company. It does have an influence to my student if I have a doctor versus if I don't have a doctor. That's right. In college, the professors have a greater influence on parents than people who don't have a PhD. However, if they rely on this position, they are going to miss out on 2, 3, 4, 5 areas, the area 2, area 3, area 4, and area 5 that can also create influence. That's why I've listed here the 5 areas of influence. So, second area, what I call your personality and your style. Your personality and your style will definitely create influence. When certain style will impact other styles. Okay? So that's why during your communication, in your conversation, in a social setting, personality and style create an impact. Third, what I call competency. Once you are with people of the same expertise or the same connected area, career, related work context, then competency play a very important role. Doesn't matter if you do not have a position, doesn't matter if you do not have a title, doesn't matter if you do not have a physical connection, but the competency may open door. That's why a lot of people with competency, they put up videos in YouTube, and totally people who are not related, who have no title or position, or even don't have the opportunity for personality or style to influence, but yet people across the world, so when they start listening to what was being expressed and see the person actually is very well versed and very knowledgeable in that area, they are willing to listen, and in the process of willing to listen, they are being influenced. That's why competency also. And then third, what is called attitude or philosophy or mindset. Your ability to, that means your strength of philosophy, your strength on understanding life, your strength in being able to visualize and picture and explain life in general. It has that influence. That's why very important is, to me, is you will notice that a lot of olden day when there were no school, all the philosopher generate followers who influence, whom this philosopher is able to influence, and these disciples are willing to learn, and as a result, changing the disciples' life and direction in life. Right? And then the fifth is what I call intrinsic quality, the subconscious influence, the character and the intrinsic quality of the person that leads to subconscious continuous influence. Now, you think about it, as you go down, it creates more and more indirect influence. The kind of influence that can make long-term impact, influencing a person's life, not just influencing a person on how they do the job. Most of the time, level 1 influence is very short-term. Okay? And it's very, very narrow. It is very restricted to only a certain context. But as you go down, the context of influence expands. Okay? As you go down further and further, you are influencing people who have no obligation to listen to you. And you have the ability to influence people, right, who choose to submit to your influence. Whereas, number 1, they allow themselves to be influenced because they have to. When you reach number 5, they are influenced because they want to. They choose to allow themselves to be influenced by you. So to me, this question is focusing on number 1, which is a very limited perspective of what leadership is. It is very, which is overly focused on this level 1 leadership, which is to me very sad. So for us, we should be focusing on level 4 and 5 leadership. Okay, where we impact. Now, if you think about it, which area do you think your children will look at? Level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4 and 5? It's number 4 and 5, huh? Okay, your children, your children, the impact that you have on your children's life is very much defined by your 4 and 5 area of leadership. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay, any question? Otherwise, good timing. 10:30. Not even 10:30 yet, 10:28. Still got 2 minutes.
You really squeeze and everything out.
Yes. Must squeeze all the time. Must squeeze all the time. Okay. Any comment? Any question? Any input? Any sharing? If not, then let's call it the night.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of content here. There's a lot of content.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I mean, these are all quite deep content. But to me, it's worthwhile for you to know early, so that you can strategize to equip yourself with all this. Because once you are able to see clearer, bigger, and more complete, then you are able to strategize and plan how to grow your life in a more complete manner. Okay. Yeah. You can't grow if you are ignorant of how to grow, or you can't. But once you have an idea, you can start exploring how you can grow. So that's why all this I prefer to tell you. As long as you can understand, I prefer to tell you and try to describe to you, so that you can begin to grow it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Edmund, I have a question.
Yes, Jessie.
So okay, you just now you highlight the 5 points that will create influence. So do you think like we should have a look on it, and perhaps we want to focus, not say focus, okay, we want to kind of see which area we want to grow. You see, like, okay, are you having a title now? Okay, yes, I have. Then what? If I don't have a title, the 4 things are which area I can grow as a leader. Is this things something like that?
No. To me, it is, you have to prioritize in importance. To me, you should be thinking in context of, okay, which is the most important, which is the most crucial, which is the most long-lasting effect, and that one you will put higher priority. Simply meaning, to me, 5 is more important than 4, is more important than 3, is more important than 2, is more important than 1, to me. If that is so, then if I have number 1, but I feel that, yes, I have been number 1 in this company, but this company is requiring me to do something that is contrary to number 4. So what would I do? Now, to me, I will sacrifice number 1 for number 4. I will quit. Because I want to make a stand on my philosophy and my belief. Does that make sense? So no, I don't believe you should be looking at, do I have number 1? Do I have number 2? Do I have number 3, number 4, number 5? No. Now, if you think about it, if you look at a lot of these heroes of history, a lot of them gave up number 1, as well as number 2, and they make a stand with number 4 and number 5. And in the process, what happened? The people gave them number 1. Do you understand what I'm saying? Their followers gave them number 1.
Yes.
Right? They didn't fight to get number 1. But their followers give it to them. Now, if you look at Jesus' life, even worse still, the followers give them number 1, yet he deny it, he don't want it. Why? Because he says that my mission is to serve. And my mission is to die on the cross. Literally, no position, no title, because his title, his position was what? A criminal. He died a criminal. So literally, his life ended with no number 1. So to me, it is not about having all 5. It's about recognizing. You see, if you think about what I'm saying, and now you think about the world value. Hey, the world is sacrificing number 4 and 5 to get number 1. Right? If you look at the rat race, the corporate rat race, they are sacrificing their own belief and their character quality just to get number 1. The world see number 1 as more important. And which is why, if you think about it, these kind of people who are gaining number 1 at the expense of the number 4 and 5, did they increase in leadership or did they drop in leadership? Most of us, when we discover this kind of people who have the position, do you think you are willing to follow them? No. Because they do not have your well-being at heart. They do not. They only want their position and their title so that they can have their maximum reward for themselves. They are not constructive leader. They are destructive leader. So people who value number 1 more than number 5 are generally resulting in destructive leadership. People who value number 5 and 4 more than number 1, they are more on constructive leadership, servant leadership. So to me, it's about prioritizing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in that order as you are choosing what life gives to you. Because you want to be a better leader, you will choose number 5 over number 4, over number 3, over number 2, over number 1. Does that help answer your question, Jessie?
Yes. I think now I understand better. It's about prioritize the importance. Not choose one either. Okay.
No. But nevertheless, you have to accept that all 5 levels have influence.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. I will look into it. Thanks.
Okay. Any other question?
No more from my side.
Okay. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the patience. Thank you, Mabel, for all the hard work in preparing the slide and presenting and the nervousness.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing, good night, take care, and again, stay alert, keep your guard up, and stay safe.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good night. Oh, I should stop presenting.